I moved into my new apartment at the start of October. It wasn't much, one bedroom, small kitchen, paper-thin walls, but it was cheap and I needed a change. The landlord said the upstairs unit was vacant, so I figured it would be quiet. The first 2 nights were uneventful. I unpacked, ordered takeout, scrolled through job listings. But on the 3rd night, around 2 a.m., I heard something. It sounded like furniture being dragged across the floor upstairs. Slow, heavy scraping, like someone was pushing a couch inch by inch. I almost laughed. Guess the landlord was wrong. The place wasn't empty. The next morning, I called to ask who had moved in above me. He said, "Nobody." I said, "Well, someone's definitely up there. I heard them moving furniture." He paused for a second and replied, "Unit 5 is still locked up. Nobody has the key but me." That should have been enough for me to pack my things. But I didn't. I told myself old buildings make noise. I even looked up videos on how plumbing or settling beams can cause weird sounds. But nothing explained the slow dragging or the occasional deliberate footsteps. A week passed. Then things got stranger. I'd fall asleep with my bedroom light off and wake up with it on. Once, I found my bathroom mirror covered in faint smudges. Long vertical marks, like someone had run their fingers across it. I lived alone. I didn't touch the mirror. One night, I was brushing my teeth when I heard a tap on the ceiling. Just one. Then another. Then a third. 3 slow knocks, like someone was knocking from the floor above me. In perfect rhythm with my brushing. I stopped moving. The knocking stopped. I brushed again. Knock, knock, knock. I couldn't take it anymore. The next day, I asked the landlord if I could check out Unit 5 myself. After some convincing, he agreed, but made me promise I wouldn't touch anything. He handed me a brass key, said it hadn't been used in over 6 months. That apartment, it felt wrong the second I stepped in. The air was stale and cold, though the windows were shut tight. No furniture, just dust and footprints. They weren't mine. I hadn't walked that far yet. The footprints started in the middle of the room and led in a slow, dragging line toward the back wall. I followed them. There was a closet. When I opened it, I found something hanging on the hook. A long, faded nightgown. It looked ancient, yellowed, stained, like it had been there for decades. But there was no dust on it. That's when I felt it. Breath on the back of my neck. I turned around fast. No one there, but the closet door slammed shut on its own. I left without looking back. I stopped sleeping well after that. At night, I'd hear footsteps above me, pacing back and forth, and not the heavy steps I'd heard before. These were barefoot, soft, but fast, like someone was frantically walking in circles. 3 a.m., I heard sobbing. Not loud, but high-pitched, choked. I played music to drown it out, but even with headphones, I swore I could hear it underneath everything. The final night, it got worse. I woke up gasping. It felt like someone had pressed their fingers around my neck. I bolted upright, heart racing. My bedroom light was on again, but this time so was the one in the hallway, and I hadn't touched it. I stood up and noticed something on the ceiling. A wet stain, not brown like water, dark red, and it was dripping. I ran out of the room, straight into the living area, and that's when I saw it. My front door was wide open. I didn't think. I just left. I didn't take my keys, phone, nothing. I ran to the stairwell and started climbing, banging on the landlord's door. He wasn't home. I turned to leave and heard the door to Unit 5 creak open. No one stepped out, but something rolled into the hallway. A photo, old and curled at the edges. It showed a woman standing in a hallway that looked exactly like mine. Same wallpaper, same light fixture. She was wearing the same nightgown I found in the closet. Only her eyes had been scratched out. I moved out the next morning. Didn't even wait for the lease to end. The landlord didn't seem surprised. Just took the key and nodded like he'd seen this happen before. I've tried to forget that month. I live in a newer building now. Bright lights, thick walls, no upstairs neighbors. But last night, my hallway light flickered. And when I looked out the peephole, I saw footprints, there, leading to my door.